Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. In our first story, Her Royal Highness deigns to meet the peasant chef to graciously thank him, thus fulfilling her one good deed of the decade given to one of the less worthy. Ah yes, the light radiates out from her pink scalp of goodness. What a Karen. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Self-entitled Karen thanks me with a warning. A little background first. I am a chef at a very large restaurant, multiple bars / dining rooms / private event spaces in a major city. I work both BOH, back of house if you haven't been in the industry. We don't usually talk to customers unless we want to for a reason. I'm an introvert and shy unless I feel like I'm in my element like the kitchen. I've been a chef for more than a decade and have spoken to what I guess is now my fourth guest. It's not my thing. That's why managers exist. The idea gives me anxiety, something fierce. Did they not like something? Was it cooked poorly? It made them nauseous, tasted bad, etc.? Then today happened. I get a call to the kitchen that a guest wanted to speak to me. Yes, a call. We're so big we use phones and radios to reach each other through various floors. I responded, "Find a manager." The reply was, "They want to see the chef." No matter how many times I repeated this, they said the guest wants to speak to the chef in person. Reluctantly, I made the walk to where they were, only to be told to wait there because the guest had gone to the bathroom. When they finally came back, the one guest just looked at me and held up 2 thumbs. I questioned it and asked, "How was everything?" She replied, "Everything was great, and that's good for you, because I'm the kind of person who leaves reviews and comments and gets people fired." I just smiled lightheartedly under my mask. She then said, "I've done it before and I have proof." I simply thanked them for their visit and went back to the kitchen. What makes people feel so entitled? I never want to speak to a guest again. What else can be said? Smugness and entitlement is the middle name of these people. A power trip on irrelevant things is their fuel. And our second story. Do you know how much money we spend here? I'm a hotel worker. This happened a few weeks ago and I'm still sore about it, so here we go. We had about 15 to 20 people from a company we'll call Trucking Company. Trucking has a direct bill, company rate, etc., set up with us, and all of us front desk agents could probably set up a reservation for them with our eyes closed or get pretty close to it. This group was a little different, though. It was some managers from corporate coming to stay with us and use our meeting room for, well, meetings, and as a general hangout area. They were loud, drunk, and rowdy, as most of these guys tend to be, but they're our best customer, so I didn't have much of a choice other than biting my tongue and rolling my eyes. It's about 9:45 on a Tuesday, and I'm just counting down the minutes until I can go close down the pool when a guy on his phone wanders into the snack shop area, grabs a big bag of chips, and smacks it down on the counter along with a $5 bill, all while not even acknowledging my presence. Okay, cool. I give him his change and send him on his way. 10 p.m. finally rolls around and I shut down the pool. Just as I'm exiting the pool room and about to lock the door, Chips guy opens the door to the breezeway. "I'm sorry, sir, the pool closed at 10 p.m. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. It'll reopen at 8 a.m. He rolls his eyes and continues talking to whoever he's on the phone with, now about how he's getting kicked out of the pool when he just wants somewhere quiet to talk on the phone, and that this kid doesn't know how much money I spend here. Note, I never found out this guy's name, but I did look up who the CEO of Trucking Company was. It wasn't him, and the VIP of the company never notated that anyone staying with us that week would be considered a VIP. While I'm about 6 feet behind him, he then proceeds to wander into the meeting room. I try to remember whether or not he'd checked in with Trucking Company or had been wearing any company clothing, as most of my employees there had been. I decided it was better to be safe than sorry and was going to ask him to leave. "Hi, sorry, this room is reserved for Trucking Company. I'm going to have to ask you to find some—" "I'm with Trucking Company, sweetheart." "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know." "That's too bad. Your owner will be finding out about this as I'm good friends with him." I went on to try to say something else, probably just apologizing more and excusing myself, but I couldn't get 2 words out before he moved the mouthpiece away from his mouth, pointed to his phone dramatically, and with a tone that was clearly meant to say, "You're clearly an idiot, aren't you?" reminded me, "I'm on the phone." I can usually hide it quite well, but I absolutely fold in the face of demeaning comments and behavior like this, so I just sighed, walked back behind the desk, and wrote out a note to my GM/co-owner of the hotel, informing him that he may be contacted by this guy or someone from trucking company and getting my side of the story in there before this guy absolutely rags on me to my boss. Thankfully, I'd made plans to spend the night with my boyfriend, so instead of pathetically sobbing in my bed alone, my boyfriend and I took turns insulting the pool guy and the other guys from trucking company. The next afternoon rolls around and we go into work. I'm trying to keep my head up as my stomach's sinking with fear of what my GM might say, and my boyfriend's trying to keep my spirits up. Our boss was gone for the day by the time we walked in, but our coworker on first shift filled us in on what happened. The guy never contacted our boss, but our boss did have a laugh about the drunk who pouted in the meeting room after getting kicked out of the closed pool. I had a lot of respect for my boss before, but that earned him so many extra points. These are the same people who try to tell police or fire or public employees, "I pay your salary," to try and flex. And our next story. Customer tells me I can give my baby's old clothes to her. Okay, so I work at a buffet as a server. There was this girl who worked there for a week, then got fired. Now she comes in twice a week with her messy kids and trashes whatever section she's in while she eats. I was unfortunate enough to have her in my section. The whole time they were there, her kids got plate after plate of food without eating any of it, just throwing and smearing it everywhere while mom was on her phone. And these are not toddlers. These are school-age children. I just grin and bear through the meal because it was a slow day anyways. Well, as they're leaving, the son tips me $2 with his own money. Sweet, I know, I gave it back. And then his mom comes up to me and says, "Hey, weren't you pregnant? How's your baby?" And I smile and say yes, and that he's good, thinking she's actually interested. Then she says, "Is he still in newborns? I really need some newborn clothes." I tell her yes, as he was only 4 weeks old at the time and barely 8 pounds. And she says, "Can I give you my number so that you can give them to me when he grows out of them finally? I don't have the money for baby stuff right now." What? I was going to give away his clothes to a mom in need or the women's shelter anyway, but for some random woman who just trashed my table and let her child give me a tip with his own money to expect me to give her my baby stuff for free completely took me off guard. Not to mention, if you don't have enough money to buy your unborn baby clothes, you either shouldn't be having a baby or you shouldn't be eating out at a buffet that costs $18 a person. I was baffled. I'm sure she's looking to sell them. And our last story. Okay, I'll comply, but the company will lose $1 million. This happened just last night. I'm a mid-level boss for the second shift in a distribution warehouse. Among the many things I'm in charge of, the biggest is billing. I invoice all the orders after they're picked and loaded on trailers to be sent to the customers, keeping all the boring technical details as small as possible. The billing system is called the ASN. It's clunky, outdated, and absolutely asinine in how it operates. If one single order is missed or has an error, it'll crash the system and not put through any of the orders. So one billing error will cause 400 to 700 orders, around 8,000 to 15,000 pieces of product, around 15 to 20 trailer loads, to not be billed or sorted to routes, or sent. The orders come in 4 batches called POs. So last night we're working on the first PO when the warehouse manager comes to me and tells me that a customer ordered late and they've generated a 5th PO just for their order, but that they're coming in person tomorrow morning and that the day shift will pick it, only 10 pieces. He tells me when it prints out just to set it on his desk. Don't pick it or bill it, he'll handle it in the morning. I immediately tell him that if it's going to print on second shift's POs, then it'll be in the system under our ASN. And that if I don't bill it, it'll hit the system as a missed order and will crash the ASN. He looks at me indignantly and says it won't because the 5th PO is after hours and will be in the system as the next day's. I tell him that's not how it works. He insists and says, "I'm the boss, so just do it." His shift is over and he wants to go home. I give him a hearty "yes, sir," and go about my night. After the order printed, I set it on his desk as instructed and sent him an email on the company computer stating that his direct instructions had been followed. Normally, I'd have text, but I wanted proof in the company's email. Needless to say, in the wee hours of the morning after my crew was home in bed, the ASN crashed over the missing order, and just under $1 million of product was frozen in limbo. No money was charged, no customers received their pre-July 4th orders. My company ate the cost of everything, including the transportation costs, drivers, lumpers, dock workers, pickers' payroll, and all the other expenses of a large warehouse's nightly operations. This morning, the warehouse manager called me, and to his credit, he didn't try to throw me under the bus, possibly helped along by my email proof. But he's always been a generally upfront kind of guy. He just sheepishly told me I was right and crap had hit the fan. He's been there forever, so I doubt he'll get fired, but I know he'll be walking with a limp after the butt chewing he took from corporate today. If you're going to run a multi-million-dollar operation on an antiqued goober system, don't argue with the one goober who knows how to make it run. Good for you, covering your butt when you knew things were going to hit the fan. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.